Welcome back, listeners, to another chilling episode. Tonight, we dive into one of the most unsettling urban legends of the 20th century. Between 1966 and 1967, the small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, became the center of fear and mystery as locals reported sightings of a strange creature, a winged, red-eyed figure known as the Mothman. This eerie legend has left an indelible mark on the town, and tonight we explore the truth behind the sightings. Buckle up. This story may make you question what's really out there. I'll never forget when I first heard about the Mothman. Growing up, I loved tales of cryptids, but this one was different. In the fall of 1966, the people of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, began encountering something terrifying. It wasn't just a fleeting glimpse. It was a full-on confrontation with a creature straight out of a nightmare. The creature, with its piercing red eyes and enormous wings, seemed to appear out of nowhere. The stories that came out of this small town would haunt me for years. The first sighting occurred on November 12, 1966. It was a crisp autumn evening when 5 men were digging a grave in a cemetery near Clendenin. Out of the corner of their eyes, they saw it, a humanoid figure with wings. The creature didn't attack, but it flew over them, gliding through the trees silently. They watched in disbelief, unsure if what they had seen was real. It wasn't long before news of this strange encounter spread, leaving the town in a state of uneasy anticipation. Just 3 days later, 2 young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mallett, had an experience that would change their lives forever. As they were driving near an abandoned TNT plant just outside Point Pleasant, they saw something that made their hearts stop. Standing in front of their car was a creature unlike anything they'd ever seen. 6 to 7 feet tall, with glowing red eyes and wings folded against its back. They sped away, terror gripping them, but the creature followed. The couples raced down the dark road, but the Mothman kept pace, effortlessly soaring through the air. No matter how fast they drove, it was always just behind them, its glowing red eyes fixed on their car. They eventually reached the town, hoping the lights and people would drive it away. When they finally stopped, the creature had vanished. Shaken, they went straight to the police to report what they had seen. But how could anyone believe such a story? The authorities were skeptical, but the fear in their eyes was undeniable. As more sightings were reported, the legend of the Mothman began to grow. It wasn't just a couple of strange encounters. Dozens of people started seeing the creature. Some saw it flying overhead, while others claimed it appeared near their homes. Everyone described the same thing: those terrifying red eyes, the towering figure, and the feeling that it was watching them. The entire town became consumed by fear. Was the Mothman a cryptid, an alien, or something else entirely? No one knew, but the sightings continued. Over the next few months, Point Pleasant was gripped by paranoia. People began avoiding the old TNT plant, where most of the sightings had occurred. Some believed the creature lived in the abandoned bunkers from World War II. Others thought it was a harbinger of doom, a warning that something terrible was about to happen. Yet despite the fear, there was also curiosity. Paranormal investigators, reporters, and curious onlookers flocked to the town, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious Mothman for themselves. One of the most unnerving aspects of the Mothman sightings was the effect it had on those who encountered it. People described feeling a deep sense of dread before they even saw the creature. Some reported strange dreams of destruction and chaos in the days leading up to their encounters. Others experienced headaches and nausea after seeing the Mothman. It was as if the creature brought with it an overwhelming aura of fear and darkness. For the people of Point Pleasant, their lives would never be the same. The sightings culminated in a tragic event that seemed to cement the Mothman's place in local legend. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge, which connected Point Pleasant to Ohio, collapsed during rush-hour traffic. 46 people lost their lives that day, plunging into the freezing waters of the Ohio River. The disaster shocked the town, and many began to wonder if the Mothman had been a warning of this catastrophe. After all, sightings of the creature seemed to stop after the bridge's collapse. People began drawing connections between the Mothman and the tragedy. Some claimed they had seen the creature near the bridge in the days leading up to the disaster, while others believed the Mothman had tried to warn them in its own way. Whether it was a coincidence or something more, the collapse of the Silver Bridge became forever intertwined with the Mothman legend. Point Pleasant was left grieving, not only for the lives lost, but for the haunting mystery that seemed to linger in the air. After the collapse, the Mothman sightings mysteriously ceased. The creature that had terrorized Point Pleasant for over a year simply vanished, leaving behind more questions than answers. Was the Mothman a cryptid, a paranormal entity, or perhaps something from another dimension? No one could say for sure. Theories ranged from government experiments gone wrong to extraterrestrial visitors, but the truth remained elusive. The only certainty was that the Mothman had left an indelible mark on the town and its people. In the years that followed, Point Pleasant became a hotspot for paranormal enthusiasts and cryptid hunters. The town embraced its eerie history, hosting an annual Mothman festival and even erecting a statue in the creature's honor. But for the locals who lived through the terror of those days, the legend wasn't just a story to be celebrated, it was a reminder of the fear that gripped their community. The Mothman had come and gone, but its presence still lingered in the memories of those who had seen it. Over time, the story of the Mothman spread beyond Point Pleasant. Books were written, documentaries were made, and the legend became a part of American folklore. The Mothman became more than just a local mystery. It was a symbol of the unexplained, a creature that defied logic and reason. To this day, sightings of similar creatures have been reported across the world, with each one adding to the growing mythology. But for those who lived in Point Pleasant during those dark days, it's a legend rooted in fear and tragedy. As I reflect on the Mothman sightings, I can't help but wonder what really happened in Point Pleasant. Was it a mass hallucination, or did something truly otherworldly stalk the town for over a year? The eyewitness accounts are too consistent, too detailed to be easily dismissed. And then there's the Silver Bridge collapse, a tragedy so sudden and devastating that it's hard not to see a connection. The Mothman may be gone, but the questions it left behind continue to haunt those who seek the truth. The legend of the Mothman will live on as long as there are those willing to share the story. It's a tale of fear, tragedy, and the unknown, one that has captivated generations. Whether you believe in the creature or not, the impact it had on Point Pleasant is undeniable. So the next time you find yourself driving down a dark, lonely road, keep your eyes on the skies. You never know what might be watching you from the shadows, waiting to remind you that not all mysteries can be solved. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the Mothman sightings. If this story sent shivers down your spine, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, keep your lights on and always stay curious.